Alright, well, welcome back to a kind of a special episode of the Hole Up Project. We're on our way to pick up a fairly iconic car here in town that's been welcome back to the Hole Up Project. We're the truck on a mission today. Kind of a special little episode. Gonna pick up a fairly iconic car here in town. Most everybody in the town knows about it, and most everybody in town knows the history of it. Luckily enough, I'm the one that gets to try to resurrect it from the dead. So we're on our way there. Got to get the trailer and stuff hooked up, and we're gonna go pick it up, and we'll show it to you here in a minute. It's gonna be a good one. So hold tight. All right, got the trailer hooked up. Off we go. We got about a half a block to go here. Not even a half a block to go. There she is. Not everybody's cup of tea, but the story behind this car. Look at that old girl. 1986 Trans Am. We'll get into the story here in a minute. I'm gonna get the trailer set up and we'll get it loaded. Do a quick little walk around here before we pull her out of its hole. The word on the street is that this thing has been here for over 25 years. 1986 Trans Am, one owner car. Tom bought it brand new, and I believe it has very, very low miles on it. Let's see when the tag was. Last tag, 2007. It's gonna be a neat car, and it's got a pretty neat story behind it. Tires are in real good shape, but they're flat, obviously. We'll do a lot more walk around here when we get it back to the shop, but for now, we're gonna see if we can get hooked up and get this thing loaded. That's impressive. There's 8 psi of air still in these tires. We'll try to get, we'll just try to put 20 in them and see what happens. See if it'll bring it up a little bit. This one here, as you can see, we've got rimmage in the dirt, and it may be a Christmas miracle if this one takes any air. That front one we got 20 psi in. This one obviously is a big old fat zero. We'll go for 20 in this and see what happens.
a little dusty, but
the lighting's not great.
No,
we'll
it's not.
More when we get into the shop, but man,
the outside is worse, that's for sure.
This tire's leaking down pretty quick. You can hear it.
Oh yeah. What do you think the biggest problem's gonna be?
Hopefully the wheels aren't locked up, because then we're gonna have to try to drag it. But luckily the trailer's got a winch on it, so it should. This one's got 7 psi in it already.
Open that door. I bet the lighting is a little bit better.
Hopefully without too much of a fight. We're at least getting some air in the tires, and they're holding so far. Except for the left rear, that one's not holding. Let me back this trailer up a little bit more, and we'll get the winch hooked up and see what we can do here. She's coming. She came out of there.
It's been our home for a while. This tire's flat again.
Is it?
Yeah.
The car rolls good.
Yeah.
So I need it to come.
Ooh, making me nervous. I don't know if you wanted me to hop in there or...
She's doing good.
Oi.
Well, that's where she's been sitting. Used to sit for all those years. She's loaded up. Ready for the journey across town. All right, old girl, let's go. Well, we're sitting here with Mr. Tom, the owner of this fine establishment called Hattie's, and the owner of the 86 Trans Am that we just loaded up on the trailer. So this was originally built when? Do you remember when the
This
original
building
Hattie's?
here was finished in 1969 because there was an old hotel on this property that my parents owned.
Okay.
And they it burnt down in 1968, July of 1968. So it took almost like a whole year for this to be completed and stuff.
I think I've got a picture of that somewhere. Them out here in the street with the fire hoses going.
Yeah, that was a big old hotel, tin hotel building, and burnt to the ground, and lost our dog in the fire.
Shoot.
The dog used to stay up here and stuff. That was the toughest part about it.
So then they rebuilt this, and you bought it in 78?
Yeah, October of 1978.
And then you've had Hattie since then.
I have, yes.
So
in my 46th year right now.
46 years. So the car's got quite or the bar's got quite a bit of history, and so does the Trans Am.
It does.
Because you bought the Trans Am new in 1986.
Yeah.
So young strapping Tom walked into the dealership in 86 with a pocket full of cash and
No, it's finance. My best friend, Dwight Owen, and I told him, I said, I want a different car. I had a 1979 Impala that I had bought from my stepfather in Florida. My mom drove it up, actually, and then flew back, saying it's like, I just want, I wanted a Supra at first, a Toyota Supra, But I got down to McGrath Pontiac, which that's all it was at that time, was McGrath. That was all they sold was Pontiacs back then.
Yeah, I thought about it.
And the dealer says, I got this Trans Am, and he said, you want to take it out for a spin? It had 2 miles on the odometer when I took it out of that parking lot, and him and I went for a spin on the Interstate 380, which was fairly new back then in 1986. And I can remember him saying, you don't have to go that fast. I said, I love going this fast.
Yeah.
And so we got back to the dealership, and I said, I want that car. And if I remember right, it was a little over 21,000 sticker price.
Oh, that's not bad.
No, it wasn't bad at all. It was a little over 21,000, and then I traded in my Impala. I didn't get a lot for it, but I didn't care. I just wanted to get that Trans Am.
Yeah. Yep.
So it is in May of 1986 I bought it.
That's
brand
awesome.
New. Went to, had it a week, and went to, Eddie Murphy was at the Five Seasons Center for a concert, So me and a gal went down there, and I parked on the First Avenue Bridge, and we come out of there and walked down to where the car was. The whole passenger side was keyed from back to front.
Oh, no.
Had it 1 week, had the Trans Am for 1 week, and so that was the first time it was in the body shop. First of a few times it was in the body shop.
So it got repainted at some point then?
Yeah, it got repainted. And
okay.
But,
wow. So did you ever take it on any road trips or anything?
Yeah, I took it to Florida quite often.
Really?
Yeah. Me and my girlfriend at the time, we would drive down there, and T-tops off, And I never burned, in the sun, but we got closer to Florida, and my forehead was just scalded. It was like I never burned, but I did burn with the T-tops off in Florida.
I bet.
We had a lot of good trips with that. It was fun to drive
I'm sure.
distance like that.
I'm sure it was.
And I never had any problem getting into traffic. It doesn't matter where I was coming from what interchange or whatever, how much traffic, I could get right in there. It's like, it would get me in there.
That's good stuff. I saw it's got a tape deck in it. Did you ever, what was the first tape you played in that car, if you remember?
I do. It was Pet Shop Boys. The Pet Shop Boys.
I can't say I've ever heard of that
West
one.
End Girls. West End Boys.
I was thinking maybe it'd been like White Snake or you know.
I had some of those too.
Did you?
Know, yeah, I had a lot, you know, a lot of different tapes.
Get them T-tops off and the mullet flowing and the.
He made me
Didn't have a mullet, but I had long hair. No, I did have long hair though.
Don't remember.
That's awesome.
But we had a lot of that. That car was a lot of fun. It really was. But it's for younger people.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So then you eventually parked it, and you parked it basically in 07 was when you.
No, I actually parked it before then. I would
did?
guess it towards the end of the 90s.
Into the 90s.
Yeah, because I got a '99 Toyota Camry, but it was a little bit old. It wasn't. I didn't buy it brand new, so it must have been maybe early 2000s. I parked it. And
Okay.
Got it going again in 2007 and drove it for a little bit. It's like brought back some good memories.
Oh, I'm sure it did.
But
So then from 07 until now is where it basically is where it hasn't moved since then.
it has not moved since '07. Right.
Okay.
Yep. It's been
I never got it.
going on 17 years.
Awesome.
When I retired, they offered me this.
Well, we'll take good care of it, and we'll
I know.
get her down there and get it back up and going for you, and
Yeah. It's,
see what we can do.
I'm anxious to see. I don't know if I really need to drive it anymore, but
Well,
I am anxious to see it.
I think you ought to go for a ride once it gets
Can
running
you
again.
get in and out of it?
Well, don't have far to go. There she is. 1986 Trans Am. I'm excited to see the miles on it. I know they're low. I don't remember how low. I think they're 30,000 miles or less. We'll see here in a minute when we get to the shop. Well, there she is, fresh into Holub Project headquarters. Yes, sir, and ma'ams. We will be on this very soon, and the video that you watch will be on this car. All right, well, it's been a couple weeks. Finally got a chance to bust into this special little project here, and you guys have kind of seen a little bit of the back history and the story behind it. So let's go ahead and take a closer look at this thing. 1986 Pontiac Trans Am. This is, as Tom said, he bought this brand new, 1986. And obviously has had it ever since. It sat under that, whatever it is, overhang for a long time, obviously. And let's take a closer look at it here. We can see some of the decals, you know, from the weather and all that stuff are starting to get a little damage, come off. The battery is absolutely dead as a doornail. I did stick a little trickle charger on it. I don't know if it'll do anything, but we swung up and got a new battery we can throw in. And she's very dirty, so we can't see a ton of the body, but what you can see, I think it'd clean up a little bit. Some more of the decals and stuff missing there. VIN code, we will dig into that and decode the VIN number. I believe this is a 305 carbureted car, but we'll find out. T-top car. I don't know a ton of the differences between the older model, the different models of the Trans Am. I don't think you could get the 350 TPI until 87. And I think like the louvers and all that stuff were add-on options. If this were a TPI, I believe it would say it down here on the bottom left side of the bumper, and it does not. Emblem missing there. No broken out tail lights or anything crazy like that. The spoiler, it's got some weather damage. It's cracked here. And it's kind of got some bubbles and stuff in the plastic. I don't know if it's part of the molding or how that works. Another big crack here. Auto armor protecting this vehicle, not from the raccoon or whatever that got up there and was wandering around. And it seems to be in pretty good shape overall. I think you could probably get these decal kits, take those decals, try to get these off and put new ones on if you really wanted to. I'd be really curious about this paint though, what it looks like cleaned up. It's got the Trans Am style wheels on it. Here's an oddity. I don't know if you can read that. The door handles say fuel injection on them. Interesting. Must be a misprint or something like that. Anyway, let me grab a light here. Some weather checking on the headlights and stuff. And then, I don't know, you can kind of see maybe some of the cracking in the paint. It's kind of hard to see it on camera. You can kind of see it there. It's kind of doing that all over the place. And there was somebody gave the antenna a little tweak there. Probably one of the bar patrons come out drunk at some point and but this here, you can see this line down the door. I'm not exactly sure why that's doing that. And then again, it says fuel injection here on this door handle too. Got the old Firebird emblem up there. Let's pop a door open and we'll take a closer look in here. It's probably going to be a little dirty, but I mean, this thing's been sitting a long time. Door panel looks to be in pretty good shape. Nothing crazy there. Little crack up here. That's too bad. Little pockets in the doors. Look at these seats. It's incredible. 1986. Could run a vacuum and stuff through it. Let me see if I can get sat down in here and we'll have a look. Oh, I'm probably the first person that's sat in this car for a very long time. 140 mile per hour speedometer. It's got the tach, battery voltage, fuel level, oil pressure, coolant temp. This does have air conditioning. Cassette tape. Ooh. And then, of course, your windows are in the center console here. And it doesn't look like... I don't think these had a glove box. I think they had the little pouch up here, but I don't think they had a flip down glove box in them for whatever reason. I'm not exactly sure. The interior in this thing is really, really nice though. Got a couple spiders living over there in the corner. This time of year, I suppose they're probably dead. Little fly swatter back there. Ain't got anything in the armrest. Look at that, cassette tape holders. Wow. It's awesome. Obviously not my car, so I don't want to show you anything if it's a personal item. I wonder where the they kept the owner's manual and stuff in these things, if there's not a glove box to put it in. Headliner's in great shape. No cracks in the dash, anything like that. We'll have to find, I'd like to go through the RPO codes and see what options this car has. I'm not exactly sure what we got here. Let me look at this off camera here and see. Registration renewal receipt there. And another one. What year is this one from? 1990 expires. Issue date April 3rd, 1990. Wow. Look at the way the old tags used to be. That's pretty cool. I'll go ahead and put those back in here. Oh, is that the RPO code sheet? I think it is. Let me dig this out of here. I'll be right back. All right, so that just lifts out of there. And here's all your RPO codes. So we're gonna go through this, and I'm gonna write these down and look them up, and we'll come back on and go through what this car has for options. That's pretty neat little spot to have it. Another registration renewal receipt down there from '89. That's pretty wild. This car is like a time capsule. I love how everything's just so nice. It's the condition of this interior is incredible. Little elbow grease, clean her up. It'd be like getting into a brand new car. It's ridiculous. The seats are comfortable. I wonder if there's anything in the... Nothing in that one over there. Anything in this guy over here? Oh, I'm losing stuff. Hold on. Must be another. Where'd the other one go? Oh, I'll have to grab it in a minute. Another registration. 1988. General Motors maintenance schedule for passenger cars. Let's see what we got here. Let's see if we can set this somewhere we can see it here. I don't know if I can see if I can get it open. Service inspection, custom air conditioning, owner's manual supplement, 86 Trans Am with electronic instrument clusters. Cool. We do have the dimmest of dim lights going up here. Section A. We got anything scheduled maintenance services, owner inspection and services, maintenance records, recommended fluids and lubricants. We got any maintenance records in here? Tom's a pretty particular guy. I wouldn't be surprised to see some maintenance records in here somewhere. Nope. Nothing there. I'll set that over here on the seat. Anyway, the hood is already popped. I had to have help to get that open. It was stuck pretty good. And actually, I'm not sure how to open the rear hatch. Is there a button in here somewhere? Or a lever? I think, pretty sure the rear hatch is electronic close. I just don't know where to open it at. Pretty sure these are the windows, obviously. Hood down here. Headlight stuff. I don't see anything down there. Clearly you can see they're almost nowhere on the pedals. I'm not sure. Unless there's something back here on it. Doesn't look like it. I might have to grab the key. I don't know if they have a button release or exactly how they work. Look at these old keys. Got the color codes on them. Let's try the green one. No, not the green one. Blue? Oh, there it is. Think that'll hold itself open? Definitely not. We'll get the old head prop on it. T-top bags. There's an intake boot. What else we got in here? Intake boot, and then a fuse panel cover. An original General Motors box from something. Stripe. Pontiac Trans Am. What am I looking here? Oh, is this decals? Striping for the. It's a stripe of some sort. Huh. I don't know what that's for. We'll put that back down there and we'll grab these two. Oh. I'll set these up here. And we'll try to. Yeah, I think once you shut that like that, it should suck itself down. But with no battery voltage, obviously that's not going to work. So we'll throw these in here. No, maybe not. I don't know if this car has power locks or not. We'll have to look at the RPO codes, but we'll set them up there just in case. I don't want it to lock itself. Have the keys locked in it. All right, let's see what we got up here. And these struts are obviously not going to hold themselves either. So let's see if this will work. There we go. There she is. Look at that beast. Well, not really a beast. I think they only made I think they only made like 150 horse, something like that. I'm guessing, I think it's 305, yeah, 5 liter. 5 liters of pure fury, 305. And I think they were just loaded with emission stuff. And should be carbureted, looks obviously to be. Take the carb, or take the air cleaner off here. And there's probably going to be 1,000 vacuum lines attached to it. Just wanted to take a look underneath. Oh boy. Oh, that might wait. That might wait a tickle. Coolant service. -34. December 1990. How freaking cool. Cobwebs and stuff all over. Pretty clean though for the most part. That's where that intake boot goes. It's not all, I don't see anything chewed up or anything crazy like that. Tons of cobwebs and dust, and I'd love to clean this thing up. We might. Should we throw the battery in it and go from there? Put a ratchet on the crank too, definitely, and make sure this engine's not stuck. Like to get some power to it and just kind of go through the function of stuff. But first I'm going to go through that RPO code book there, and I'm going to do a little research and pull the RPO codes and see what the options are on this thing, and you know, we'll go through them together. So let me look all that up and we'll be back here in a bit. All right, well, I'm gonna go through these RPOs here. I'm not gonna hit all of them because as you can see, there's a lot. So I'm just gonna touch on a couple of the 401s. A couple of the 401s, what does that even mean? I don't know. A couple of the important ones, and we'll kind of go from there. So pretty common, AAA, 4-way manual seat adjustment, front buckets, European style, AR9 code, AM9 rear split fold down seats. A01 is window deep tint, all of the windows. A31 is power windows. We've got B34 and B35 as front and rear carpet insert mats. B60 is a graphics package number 2. Let's see what else we got here. B84 side body moldings. B87 fender emblem delete. B97 extra molding lower. CC1 T-tops, obviously. C60 is AC manual control. It's got the mirrors, obviously. D88 sport decal stripes. D9A vehicle speed sensor, and then E50 or E5Z and E9Z are both speedo adapter delete and speedo key delete. It has the GU2, so 273 rear end gears, J50 power brakes. It's got K22 94 amp alternator, K34 cruise control, electronic, LG4 305 V8 4 barrel, MD8 700R4 transmission. And then U66 was kind of a hard one to find. Speakers for dual front dash, so I don't know if that's kind of a weird add-on. VAN California build, Van Nuys NUYS, I'm not sure. VK3 is front license plate mounting bracket, which is required in Iowa, so that's probably where that one is. And then I'm not sure what this means. V73 came up as vehicle statement US/Canada, and then WS1 package, so Firebird Performance Value Package 1 was on one of the sites that I found. And then I also found preferred package option group with CC1 T-tops N33, which this car doesn't have that RPO code, and then K34, which is the electronic cruise control. WS4 model conversion in Trans Am. WW4 aero package number 4. And then W62 aero package, and then YR1 and YS1 custom front seats and custom rear seats. So I'm not exactly sure the difference with that stuff. What else we got on here? YT9 option package, Fisher furnished parts, and then it's just got trim packages, black safety belts, and then 6 ZW, 7 DB, 8 NM, and 9 NB spring computer controlled front left, front right, right rear, left rear. And then 80A, that was another tough one to find. Stripe, two-tone red and dark sapphire. So I'm not sure if that's this down here. I'm guessing this stripe would be that. So yeah, there you go. No fender emblems. Has the delete on those, but took a while to find them, but we found them all. So I think the first thing we should probably do is see if this engine turns over. So let me grab a ratchet and breaker bar, and we'll stick her down there and cross our fingers and toes and eyes. All right, let's see if we can get down in here. Should be able to. Well, just tighten the bolt. Electric fans, fancy. Boy, I don't know. I don't want to crank on this too much and run the risk of snapping that bolt off in the crank. She's not budging. Boy, I hope it's not locked up. Let's throw this other battery in here quick, and we'll go from there. Because I sure as heck I'm not going to snap that bolt off in the ground. I have a wrench for that. That's a pretty rare occasion, because I don't have enough tools down here, as you all know. Go ahead and toss this one in. Make sure we don't have anything burning up. I don't smell anything, so we should be all right. How about the inside? We got dome lights. Oh yeah. Nope, I don't smell anything in there. Let's see if this rear hatch will close now. Yep, sucks it right down. Let's take this air cleaner off here. Nice and clean. Smells definitely like varnish, 100%. Doesn't look like anything's gotten in here, so that's good. Must be a quadrojet. Well, you guys can hang out here. And I'm gonna hit the key and see if it budges. All right. That is great news. It is not locked up. Fantastic. We are good to go. So now we can continue on. We need to let's check the oil, make sure it's got oil in it and it's not way over full or anything crazy. Wow, that's really clean oil. Feels pretty good. That's good enough to start it on. And we're gonna have to disconnect the fuel line from the carburetor and make sure that we don't suck any of that old gas up in. And I didn't bring any two-stroke oil down with me. I've got a can of mixed at the house, so I'll have to grab that. And we'll put a little chainsaw mix down the yap to start it. Don't want to use brake clean or ether or anything like that on something that's been sitting this long. You want, you know, a little 50-to-1 mix or something like that's not going to hurt it. Be better for it, get a little lubrication down in there. Let's go ahead and take the rest of this air cleaner off here. And I'm guessing she's just stuck pretty good. Yeah. Pull this tube out. Come out of there. Okay, there's that. And then, give that a twist to break her loose. Now we can see what we got going on here. So this is probably our fuel in here. We'll go ahead and take that off. And we won't need that for start. This must be electronic choke over here. And it's got all the cruise control stuff built in. It's got HEI, obviously. 86 it should. You never know though. This big glob. This is probably all emission stuff here. And we got leaves and everything else we're gonna have to get out of there. Don't want to catch anything on fire starting it up. That looks like some sort of variation of quadrijet. Let's see if our throttle's stuck. Nope. Throttle's good. So that's good news. Little heat pipe over here. Wonder where, that just sits open. Man, love to just clean this thing up. And you know what, before we go for tonight, I think that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna give this thing a bath. That way it can dry overnight. All right, well, it's the next day. We gave the old girl back here just a quick bath last night. Hosed down the engine bay a little bit, just try to knock a bit of the dust off it. And we'll take a look at it now that it's, you know, kind of clean. Not super clean. This poor paint, she's real dull, but you can kind of see, you know, where it would possibly shine up. All the years of sitting, people have drawn on it, written on it. She's seen a better day. I think a good buff job. I'll leave that word out. But, you know, just a bunch of writing all over it. And you can see very minor, just a surface, a little bit of surface rust there. Otherwise, generally in pretty good shape. That's probably from a rock chip or something. And then here's this goofy trail. I don't know what in the world would have done that. Really interesting. But anyway, we didn't scrub on it too hard. We just kind of tried to blow a bunch of the crap out of it. Cleaned up all the cowl for the most part. These are metal, you know, you could shoot those with some black. Clean those up. And, you know, a lot of the same up here, a bunch more writing. And then just kind of hosed it out under here a little bit. Cleaned up a bunch of the dust that was all over, and, you know, just a little bit of housekeeping. So, yeah, looks a little better. There you can actually see this now. A lot of this cleaned up pretty decent. So anywho, I think what the plan's going to be, we are going to disconnect that fuel line like we talked about, and then I'm going to stick the inspection camera into the gas tank and see what it looks like in there. If it's not all rusted out and nasty in there, we might be able to get away with just sucking out what's in there and putting fresh gas in. And then coming up, if we are able to, and hooking up to this line up here somewhere, and just pulling a vacuum to pull, you know, what's left in that line out. And if we can get that to work, that would be nice. And then I also, once we get that disconnected, I brought down the two-stroke oil, two-stroke mixed fuel, I should say. Give it a couple snorts of that and see if it'll just make some noise. Obviously, if it does that, we know we're in good shape. We know we've got spark and whatnot. I brought a Noid tester down. And then I brought down the little deals that hook between the plug wire and the plug with a light bulb in them, so you can crank it over and check to see if you have spark that way. So yeah, if there was a plan, that was it. Let's get started up here. And you know, every good project starts with not just one thing, but two. Number one would be putting the battery on the charger, but we've got a brand new one. Number two is hitting it with a little freeze off. So let's get a line wrench out here and see if we can get this baby busted loose. Now, I don't want to take the whole, I have to put a back hold on here. Do we have a section of rubber? That's a steel line, comes all the way up. Hopefully we're able to move that. I don't think, whoever put this on here, that's not routed right. Because there's a lot of tension on that. In my opinion, this should go around this way, where it's not pinched underneath that fuel line. And let me get a back hold for this. Are you kidding me? Where does all this stuff disappear to? Unbelievable. I know, I just said that we had a brand new battery, but I suppose let's just let the charger sit on it while we're, you never know. Might take a lot to get it started. Might not. Preventative maintenance, right? All right, back to what we were doing. Jeepers. Tell you what. This might have some pressure in it, I don't know. Oh boy. There she goes. I have a feeling that the steel fuel line might be a slight pain. I could be wrong, but I have a feeling I'm not. I don't know, I guess we'll find out. Nope, it moves. Good. That's fantastic news. All right, we'll move that up there. And let's go back yonder here. Woo! She's dirty in there. Let's see what we've got in here. It stinks. I can tell you that much. Let me bring it in here and show you. Hopefully you can see that. So there you can see the sending unit, and there's the float up at the top corner right there, floating on the fuel. But if you look down in there as I trip on it, there's some junk definitely floating, sitting in the bottom. So we may, I don't know, let's suck this stuff out of here, and then we'll reevaluate. All right, let's see if we can pull some of this out. All right, well, we're finally having success. I had to go get the smaller hose and watch in the camera and try to get it angled to get down to the right part of the system down here, the right part of the tank, sorry. So I'm just kind of watching now, watching it sucker down, get all this old nasty fuel out of here, and I don't know, we might get lucky, we might not. We'll just see what it looks like down there after I've got the fuel out of it. It's hard to see through the fuel to see if that rust is, you know, it's just hard to see through it. We'll just leave her at that. And the fuel gauge in the car is not reading, so I have no idea how much is in there. It doesn't look like a ton, but I don't know. I know it sure smells terrible. It might burn, might not. You can see our jug's getting kind of full. So we'll just keep on sucking on her. We're gonna have to dump this here pretty soon. Fill her up, fill her up. Well, I'm gonna keep working on this and I'll bring you back here after a bit. All right, hopefully you can see this, but it appears that we've gotten pretty much all of it out. There's a little bit left down on the bottom. I can try to get, you can kind of see the line, but I mean, it's pretty close to being all out of there. And as you can see, it's not in great shape. That's the bottom of the tank. Quite a bit of rust. So that will have to be a conversation with Mr. Tom. I'll throw some fresh gas in it. Just a few gallons. And that's probably going to be about it. So let's go ahead back up here to the front, and I'm going to see if I have something that I can slip over that fuel supply and put a little vacuum on that and maybe pull some fuel out of the line. And then from there, I think we're just going to try to get it started, see what happens. All right, I'm gonna see if I can jam. This rubber nipple over this steel line, and maybe, oh yeah, maybe get enough vacuum on it to pull any fuel out of that line that might be in there. The problem is the only end of this rubber coupler that I can fit over that is the end for the fat side of this hose. So I gotta try to figure out a method here. I don't want to screw this little coupler up. I don't know. Let me do some pondering. Maybe old Bob will get lucky. That's my middle name, you know. No, just kidding, it's not. Boy, I wish I could get to a rubber section of this damn thing. And I'm not gonna be able to, it just goes clear down there. Kind of nice how long the front end of these things is. You can just kind of lay right on your belly. I don't know if that's gonna work. Let's go the opposite way. Do we have something small we can stuff in there? Get your mind out of the gutter, guys and gals. Oh, yep. Drop that, knock that around, kick this, throw that. If I can just get, oh, come on. Where do you run all the way down? Clear down. I don't think I mentioned last night the actual mileage on this thing. I believe it's 52,000. Somewhere right in there, 51, 52,000. And yeah. Well, son of a gun. Let me keep digging around. I'll be back in a minute. All right, well, we got a real small piece of vacuum line jammed inside here. And then the other end into our coupler. How lucky are we gonna get? Is this gonna work? So far, no. There might not be anything in there anyway. I don't know. All right, well, we got our bottle of beer here. And we're just gonna give her a little squirt. Let me get my light somewhere that's not pointing directly in my face. And we'll just see if, we'll see what she does. We'll put a little down the yap here and try to get a little in the bowl. All right. Digger works. Bing, 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 bing. All right. Let freedom ring. Well, how about that? Woo! You're dang right. Right off the bat. Boy, that didn't take nothing. That was awesome. Tried to catch a little bit of the fuel. I left that hooked up to try to get a little bit in there. Incredible! Nice. Should we give her just one more little shot here? I want to see what we got for oil pressure. All right, here we go. About 55 psi. That's awesome. Look at all that nasty fuel coming out. We're gonna have to clean up some of this here. I didn't put the switch or nothing on it, obviously, so I can't stand up here and bottle feed it or anything like that. Let's see what it's got for coolant and stuff in it. I didn't check that. It's got some in the overflow tank. Oh yeah, completely full. Nice and bright green. So that's good. Boy, that's awesome. 17 years sitting. And she just fired right up. Great oil pressure. That's awesome. All right, well, I think what we do now, I'm gonna run up to the gas station and fill my 5-gallon tank, and we'll throw 5 gallons in it and hook the line back up and just see what happens. I wish I could put an inline filter up here. It's kind of tough on a steel fuel line. It's got the filter under the car, obviously, which will definitely need to be changed at some point. But for now, 17 years, and she barked right off. Incredible. All right, let's go get some gas, and I'm gonna zip this tire off that's got a leak in the back, and I'm gonna run that into the shop, the other shop, not my shop, buddy's shop, and get that bead fixed on it just temporarily so it holds air, and then we'll be back down here. All right, well, we're back. Filled up the gas jug and got this tire all fixed up. Had a ton of bead corrosion and valve stem leaking. Let's see if we can find our lug holes here and put a new valve stem and stuff in it. Well, you gotta go higher. So, should be good to go now, anyhow. If I can get her lined up. Struggle is real. Helps when you have a light, you know. So we'll throw this back on and then we'll jam some gas in it and see if we can actually let it run for a little bit and slowly break the head gaskets and intake gaskets and stuff back in. Warm it up slow. We'll put a torque wrench on those when we set her down. Boy, I tell you what, went for a 50-60 mile snowmobile ride the other Sunday. And I ain't no spring chicken anymore. I am sore. Believe you me. Good time though. Got to see some buddies I haven't seen in a while and had some lunch. Still, I'm kind of blown away that this thing sat for 17 years and she just fired right up. That's a Chevy motor for you. You just can't beat a small block Chevy. Time and time again. All right. Pick up all this crap and we'll throw some gas in it. Oh, we got ourselves a winner. Well, I'll be here for the next 3 months putting gas in this thing, so we'll catch you here in a little bit. All right, well, let's go up here and let's hook this fuel line back up. We got a good portion of that nasty stuff out. So we'll go ahead and throw this back together. Kind of wiggle this line around a little bit as I tighten that down to get it to seat. And hopefully we don't have any leaks. And we'll just put a vacuum cap on that nipple that's right there for the air cleaner. All right, getting tight. And we'll take the charger off. Let's go ahead and see if we can get her fired back up. I'd be a bit cranky too if it had been 17 years since I ran. I don't know if you can see the haze in here. Just a little smoky. Well, we may have a fuel filter that's getting plugged up already. It smells really sulfury. A little bit of steam coming from down by the radiator. I think she was just starting to warm up a little bit. And let's grab our light. I don't see no fuel leaks or anything like that. That carb, I'm guessing, probably needs to be pulled and cleaned. I may have to do that. And we're gonna have to figure out something with the filter too, because I'm guessing that that tank is probably sending a bunch of nasty stuff up. Into the filter. So, but she's alive. 17 years. I think I figured out what our nasty smell is. Little mouse house come blowing out of the exhaust. Wonder how much of that nasty crap is up in there. Somebody was trying to pull a fast one and come up the exhaust. Not today. All right, since it's easy to do, we're gonna quick pull that fuel filter out of the carb and just have a quick look at it. And just kind of see what we're getting up here as far as fuel. The more it runs, the worse it gets, so I'm gonna guess we have a fuel related issue. And all the mouse stuff coming out of the exhaust definitely is also an issue. Nice clean fuel out of that portion of it anyway. That thing has seen better days. Pretty nasty. So for right now, in order to get the fuel supply line to quit trying to get rid of the entire gas tank, we're going to take that filter out and thread this back in. and hook that fuel line back up. Wonder what my brother's working on tonight. I think he's doing an Allison transmission build. Tried to soak up some of this. Fuel, and then the rest of it's just gonna have to evaporate. I'm wondering how plugged up the exhaust is on this thing. Wouldn't that be something if she's running the way she is, because the exhaust is so plugged up that it can't breathe? It'd be pretty wild. But as they say, it wouldn't be a hole-up project if it wasn't something strange. Like this connector. Isn't there a tube that goes to that on the exhaust up to the air intake? I feel like that's a thing on these old rigs. I don't know. If you know, throw her down there in the comments. But I think we're gonna wrap it up there for tonight. Actually, you know what? I did want to do one more thing. I brought down the old buffer, because we're going to clean this thing up. And I want to try a little spot here. Because once you do that, you know, you're committed. You do any shiny spot on this thing, you're doing the whole thing. So let me get set up for that, and we're going to hit a little bit of this panel and see what we get. All right, we've got some chemical, guys. This is like the polishing pad conditioner. It just helps keep everything moist. Give her a little spray, and we're gonna go with, we don't need extreme compound. We'll just try this cutting polish here. And I have like a medium cut pad on here. And whoops, just lost my whole wad. Hate it when that happens. We're gonna go pretty low speed. Oh boy. The old legs. This is just a Amazon orbital I am not a professional car buffer, as y'all can probably already see. But I know a little bit. So that cleaned up all right. Let's try. Let's go from that to, let's try out this hybrid compound here. You just don't want to get the paint hot, and we're nowhere near getting it hot. Take a quick look here. It's hard to tell on the camera, but it's cleaning up fairly decent. You can see definitely, can you see the cracking? We're not gonna be able to do anything about that unless we're like gonna wet sand it or something like that. But I mean, you go from here over to here, it's a pretty dramatic difference. And that doesn't have any polish on it or nothing. That's just compound. Let's throw the polish pad on it. This is like a final polish. We'll just hit it with this quick and just kind of give us a little bit of an idea of what we might end up with. We'll turn the speed up a little bit. What a difference. How about that? That looks pretty good. Compare that to the rest of the car. It'll look pretty sharp. And keep in mind, this paint, what year is this? 86, so 38-year-old paint. Not too bad. You can see my reflection. Amazing. All right, well, we're gonna wrap this up for tonight. It's getting late, and we'll resume tomorrow evening. We'll work on more to get this thing to idle under its own power. We may have to we'll try to get this running under its own power. We might have to pull the carb off and put a carb kit in it, clean it up. I don't want to do anything more with it running tonight after spilling all that fuel everywhere. I got a lot of it soaked up, but we don't want to get it warmed up with the chance of fuel being, you know, all over in the engine bay. So we'll grab a filter. This little guy here, run down to the parts store and grab one of these tomorrow. And we'll go from there. Good night though. Got her fired for the first time in 17 years. Got her leaking tire quick fixed. Sucked everything out of the tank, put some fresh fuel in it. And making progress. So that'll wrap tonight. We'll see you guys tomorrow. All right, well, it's the next evening. Let's continue on with this. We have a ton to do tonight. We got to pull the carburetor, rebuild it. I got a rebuild kit, got a fuel filter, got an oil filter and oil for an oil change, and a couple other things. And I think what was going on last night, I think we've got stuck needles. So we're just dumping crazy amounts of fuel. So we got to pull the plugs, make sure we get everything out of the engine. I'm sure there's probably fuel down in the cylinders. and we only have a few hours to do it. So let's get cracking. Clearly you can see here, maybe easier to see on the other side. You can see how much fuel has leaked out around the different areas of the carburetor. It was coming out, all the gaskets and everything, it's all dried out. It's in rough shape, so we're gonna start by pulling that and give that a rebuild. Probably run it home, throw it through the ultrasonic cleaner, get it all cleaned up, and then we'll come back down, put it on, pull the plugs, crank it over, make sure there's nothing in the cylinders, put the plugs back in, and then we'll be ready to start it back up. So yeah, plan. And let's see. Step one, we're just gonna disconnect the fuel line again. Holy smokes. Apparently I tightened that nice last night. And let's put our rag back in there, because we're dumping fuel already. All that hard-earned money for that fuel, you know, at ridiculous amounts of money per gallon. Took the gas cap off to relieve the pressure in the tank, and maybe that'll help remedy our constant flow of fuel up here. It's worth a shot anyway. So we'll start here, take that apart. That appears to have worked fairly well, other than what's leaking out of the fuel supply or the bowl. That vacuum line stays where it's at. We've got a couple connectors up here. Try not to break those, because I'm sure this old plastic may be slightly brittle. And we've got another one over here. Take that one off. Got the choke unhooked already. And we've got a couple little C-clips over here for the throttle and the cruise. Get the old pocket screwdriver out for those. And we'll get the old Cyclops light over here too. Maybe that'll aid you guys in seeing. Let's try that. It always looks better when I go to edit these than it does on camera. It looks like the light's too bright sometimes on camera, and then I get home and it looks better. Take that off there, take that off there. And what else we got? We got this vacuum line. We can get that once we lift the carb up for some more room. We got PCV down here that we can get once we lift it up. This vacuum line's probably going to cover one of the bolts. We've got another vacuum line down here. Take that one off. And we've got our bracket in the back, should anyway. See, that bracket will stay. And then we've got the vacuum booster tube back here. I'm not sure what size that guy is. There we go. Take that off. snag these off, and then we should have 2 more in the back. Those are probably going to be a little bit tighter. There's one. The nose of this car being a half a mile long has advantages and disadvantages. One of the disadvantages is that you have to work from the side. One of the advantages is that, like I said last night, you can lay down on your belly. Man, this thing's got a lot of hoses on it. And I'm gonna bet you, there she goes. I was gonna say, she's probably a little stuck. Give her the old belly trick here. And then one last vacuum line right here. You guys are watching. Don't let me forget any of these. And, whoops. I missed this guy here. There we go. Now she should be free. Nope, she's still not free. What do we got back here now? Now she's free. Holy cow, that's got a lot of vacuum lines on it. Emissions. All right, there's that. And yes, there's a lot of fuel. So we are most definitely going to be pulling plugs. Other than that though, it's relatively clean. Should be. It's got low enough miles on it. Is that a plastic intake? Looks like it is. Yep, I think so. All right, well, I guess let's work on plugs now. All right, carbs off. Let's work on getting these plugs popped out. I'm not going to make you watch that. I'm going to put the tunes on and jam, get those yanked out, and then we're going to go home and rebuild this carb. I probably won't walk you through all of that process either. You've seen me do multiple carbs. You've already seen me do a Q-Jet. This one is a little different. It's the ME4N. I don't know, something like that. Anyway, here's the carb. It's really gross. Everything coming out of it's really gross. So we'll tear that down, clean it. Fuel smells like varnish still, but you know. Okay, I'll be back. I'm gonna get tearing on this and back in a bit. All right, well, those are out, and that was not fun. They don't look terrible, but not great. There was definitely some wet ones. We're gonna take those home and hit them with that, the little spark plug cleaning blaster son of a gun. And rebuild the carb. And then we'll be back down here. So let's go get that done. Well, we're back. That took entirely too long, and it's now already late. But the carb's clean, and I did pick up, don't scream at me, was the only thing they had in town. I didn't want to reuse these just because they're, well, they're at least 17 years old. I know that doesn't matter. I could have cleaned them up, but these were cheap enough to grab. New base gasket, carbs all cleaned up, rebuilt fully. New needle in the seat. It was absolutely disgusting inside, and that's why it took forever. There was, words can't explain how bad that carb was. So anyway, let's put some tunes on and slam this thing back together. All right, well, that's done. 45 minutes, not too bad. 8 spark plugs and a carb. All right, double check me, make sure I got everything hooked up. We have the little electrical plug-ins, 875 vacuum lines, the big guy in the back, and 3 in the front. Throttle and all that's hooked up on the side. We should be good. Let's try to start it up. You might need a couple squirts here. All right. Come on, old girl. We don't want to run her too much. Got to change the oil and stuff in it still, so that'll be it. Beautiful. Well, 17 years. She fired right back. She's alive. All right, well, there you have it. 17 years sitting underneath that awning, and she's back to life. Little carb rebuild, some new plugs, sucked out the fuel tank, new fuel filter in the carb, put some fresh gas in it, and really that's about it. Fixed a tire and some other stuff. A couple $100, no big deal. Oh, new battery. Well, I appreciate everybody watching. This is a awesome video. I feel privileged having the ability to work on Tom's car for him. So a huge thanks to Mr. Tom Hattie for letting me do this. And we'll get your car back up there in good working order. So that's going to wrap this one. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, show your friends, you know, do the thing. And like always, we'll see you in the next one.